Hello guys, hello, hello, hello guys. Era si sente. Hello, hello, hello guys, hello, 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 hello. Am I audible? Hello. Namaste, sir. Am I audible? Hello. Namaste, sir. Am I audible? Check. Hello. Check, check. Namaste, sir. Check. Mm. Check, check. Namaste, sir. Hello. Check, check. Namaste, sir. Hello. 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 Hello.
launch site just a couple miles behind Dan and I. Weather, you could call it a silver lining that we had to delay from Monday because holy moly, visibility is 1,000 times better today, and it's going to make for some really great views. Now, leading up to today, we did stack the vehicle. Later last night, flight controllers reported to their consoles earlier today. The site was cleared and the range team was deployed.
That's right. And a lot of checkouts have happened just throughout the day, aligning our guidance, navigation, control, getting all the tanks ready for prop load, which has about 4 minutes left to go. You can see us almost topping out on ship, getting ready to top out on booster. And then it also includes getting all the ground support systems checked out, ready to go. Chopsticks were demated, did their wiggle test in advance of their upcoming catch opportunity. So as I just said, prop load's ongoing. We've got a little over about 4 minutes left until, or about 4 minutes. What's 7 minus 4? 4 minutes until we get to closeouts on ship and on booster. We did just hear that the range did pull again green. So we're not tracking any issues right now. Bottom line, things are looking great for launch at the top of our window at 5:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, very exciting. Now, once again, we are attempting to catch the booster at the launch tower. If that happens today, it will be the third ever booster catch. This is an aspect that I really enjoy, and it's how the vehicle announces that it is back.
It lets you know.
Oh, yeah. This comes in an audible sonic boom in the area around the return location, which occur when the booster slows down from traveling at supersonic speeds. Similar sonic booms were heard during the return and landing of NASA's space shuttle.
Yes, sonic booms are unique to vehicles returning from space. They're kind of a hallmark of reusable systems like our Falcon 9 rocket and Falcon Heavy. General impact to those in the surrounding area is that brief thunder-like noise. I've been fortunate enough to be here for all of them so far. They definitely let you know the vehicle's coming. Here's a little bit about what it's like to experience it.
I'm going to take a second here. We've seen this last time. We've seen a lot of this stuff. They're kind of doing a replay because there's like a redo of Flight 7. But I just wanted to let you guys know, to notice that our clocks are going to be a little bit different. That's because we are obviously bringing in the X-Stream so you guys can experience it. And then we have to re-encode it and send it back out to the internet. So there's another 20-second delay or whatever it is. So you'll notice that our two clocks aren't necessarily in line. But our video on the right is going to be in line with our T0. So once we get down to like T minus 30 seconds or so, we're going to go full screen with all of our views. Since they're 4K, since they're the highest quality we can possibly muster up for you guys. And then we'll bring SpaceX back in kind of as it clears the pad and as we start to get on-camera views or on-rocket views. We'll bring those in for you guys. So I always suggest having like your own mission control with like tons of screens up. But do just be the big reminder is if you are in South Padre Island, if you are seeing this, if you're looking at Starship with your own eyeballs and you're hearing my voice, don't forget at about T minus 1 minute, start staring at Starship because there is quite a bit of delay. Definitely by T minus like 45 seconds, be just staring glued to Starship because you don't want to miss it because you're late. And of course, the sound takes quite a while to be able to hit where you're at from 5 miles away, from 8 kilometers away. It takes a good amount of time. So those are kind of my warnings, my heads up. Let's listen back in. And like I said, we'll kind of be having to play around here a little bit, but let's go, baby. Things are looking fantastic. Oh, did they stop talking now?
And then about 30 seconds later on booster. Once prop load is complete, we got just shy of 1 million pounds of liquid propellant, that's liquid oxygen, liquid methane, onto both vehicles. All of our ground systems will do what's called pushbacks. They'll clear all those feed lines. We're not continuously replenishing the propellant on board Starship or Super Heavy. That's why we essentially have several minutes where we can hang out at that T-minus 40 hold point before we start to run into issues with temperatures or just those LOX levels, or that LOX level on the booster is one of the main things that we watch. So
this drone shot's incredible.
We're also going to do a couple of final checkouts. We'll do one final one of the thrust vector control, the TVCs on the booster. We'll see them hopefully do a little bit of a wiggle test. The first one comes at about 1:40 seconds before launch, and then the last one comes right as we pass that T-minus 40 gate. Again, if we need to hold, which we held a couple of times on Monday, we can do so at that T-minus 40 second. We're not currently tracking any issues that would hold us there, but if we do run into that, we can hang out for a couple minutes.
That would be the point in the countdown, as we mentioned on Monday. That T-minus 40 second point is when we can pause to hold for final checkouts or pressurizations if necessary. But once we pass that T-minus 40 second mark, a number of things are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems will come up to flight pressure. The ship goes to internal power. And after that, the quick disconnect or QD arm lockout, that's removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. Once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, as we saw on Monday, we had the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 40 second mark and hold there to assess what happened and if we're able to proceed to T0.
And like we said, that we can hang out at T-minus 40 for several minutes before we start running into some limits, essentially, on our propellant on board. There are a couple of other things, like if we pass the T-minus 10 second point and the water starts to flow in that flame deflector and we scrub, that's automatic scrub for the day. Oh, there's our TVC, our thrust vector control checkout. It's got a little bit of a wiggle there on those inner Raptor engines, those 13 inner ones, which are going to be used for that boost back burn and the landing burn. So cool to see those.
Yeah, I love that shot. We don't have that on Falcon, and it's just so cool to see really the business end of the super heavy booster.
All right, guys. So I'm going to still listen in here, make sure I'm not missing anything. And I'm going to let you guys know that we are clearing the T-minus 40 second mark here. But once we know for sure, I'm going to be watching our clocks. We're getting close. It's looking like they're going for it here. So the first thing we're going to look for is the water deluge. And once we have that, then that will be a sign that they're going. That will happen around T-minus 10 seconds. So we're hopefully only about 10 seconds away. Well, again, if you're watching in real life, you better be looking. You better have already been looking by now. Okay, they are holding at. They're holding. But maybe it's not for long. Give us a second. So they're holding at the T40. Let's make sure we have their SpaceX audio in. And it's moving. Here we go. Okay, our clock's going to be off for a little bit, but wish us luck. Here we go, guys. We should hopefully be seeing water deluge going. Here we go. Look at that. It looks like all 33 engines are good, though. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Look at those engines. All 33 Raptor engines burning perfectly. Look at that tracking shot from Ryan. Fantastic. Oh, look at that exhaust trail, how long it goes. We're coming up already on max Q here. So hopefully we might even see some vapor cone action coming off the vehicle as it passes through that point of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Absolutely crazy. Look at that. Oh, what a beautiful day for a launch. The world's most powerful rocket. Again, this is the second test flight of the version 2 of Starship. So let's listen into SpaceX here.
All right, so we're through max Q. That's the heaviest stresses it's kind of seeing on the way up. Wow, that was pretty incredible.
I'm still recovering. That was amazing. Beautiful views of the vehicle on ascent, pitching downrange away from the launch tower.
Next thing coming up is hot staging. So we're going to look for 6 engines to ignite on ship while we're still attached to the top of the booster. We'll see all but those 3 center engines shut down on booster.
We're hearing the initial call that we are go for booster catch back here at the launch tower.
That's good. All right, we're coming up on staging here.
Coming up now on hot staging. The ship's engines will ignite while still attached to the Super Heavy booster, and also while Super Heavy booster will still be under power itself.
Okay, you can see most engine cutoff
Clamps holding
there
the
and
two
hot
stages
staging
together are
camera
going to
on the
release.
right.
And Starship second stage engines will
Booster engine
ignite.
cut off.
And look at that boost back burn.
Ship engine startup.
Okay, come on, ship.
Stage separation.
Do a better job this time.
Boost back burn startup.
There we go. Ship engines, all 6 Raptors ignited. We're doing that boost back burn. Looks like we got 11 of the 13 that we command for that, so
return.
that's going to start sending the booster back.
Huh.
We are still go for booster return, even with 2 Raptors out during that boost back.
Yeah,
we can do a
2.
full duration one.
Roger,
But
chamber pushes
two
on.
Raptors
looks like we
went
got a
out.
ship, 6 engines heading into space, and then we got a booster hopefully on our way back to Starbase. How's everything going in Hawthorne, Chris?
Everything is looking good. The crowd eagerly followed that ascent and now watching the booster coming back. So as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen here, that is ship
Ship avionics
continuing,
power
and that's a
function
great view of ship continuing on its way to space. They're looking, that's inside the camera, inside the
That's
outskirt,
cool.
looking at the Raptor vacuum and the sea level engines, the sea level ones there in the center of your screen under our T+ clock. You can see our boost back burn. We're down to 3 engines on the boost back burn. And you can see ship on the right-hand side of that telemetry with 6 engines lit, continuing its ascent to orbit, already over 100 kilometers in altitude. The booster 87 kilometers in altitude and continuing its trek right now back to the landing site and catch site. There's
Boost back shutdown.
and we just heard a good call out for boost back shutdown. The next thing we should see on our screen is the separation of the hot stage from the Super Heavy booster. We jettison that because we do not need it for the landing, but on future iterations of the Super Heavy, that hot stage ring will be incorporated into the booster and we will get it back. But for today, you can see it on the right-hand side of your screen there, just separating off from the right-hand side of the booster. You can also see the booster doing its liquid oxygen dump there, which is exactly what we would expect for it to do as the booster gets itself configured for the landing here. Now, meanwhile, Starship will continue to coast after it reaches orbit for about 40 minutes or so up to an altitude of 214 kilometers, but it's still got a ways to go there, currently accelerating past 7,500 kilometers per hour there in velocity. And just look at those great views of the booster coming back. The Gulf coastline there just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Starship is on a nominal trajectory.
And there we hear nominal trajectories all around. And Dan and Kate, we're at 5 minutes, 15 seconds here into the flight. Everything looking good for the Super Heavy and for Starship today. What's it like there at Starbase as we get ready to catch?
Wow.
It was incredible,
Yeah.
Chris,
Those are
to
some
be
shots.
able to see the mock diamonds with my own eyes. That was amazing. We are standing by for return of booster back to the launch tower. We have heard that we are go for the catch of the booster.
Yeah, this coming from one of our long-range tracking cameras, we're able to see the hot stage separate and fly away.
Oh,
So coming up in just about 30 seconds, we're going to look for the landing burn. We're going to command
Raptor chamber pushes on
those
nominal.
13 inner and middle ring engines to turn on. 13 initially, they bleed off all of that velocity as we're slowing down from supersonic speeds.
look at that.
Eventually moding down to only 3 engines for that precision flight into the tower.
Screaming.
Right now, booster using its 4 hypersonic grid fins to help guide itself through this atmospheric entry
Oh!
back for its precision,
Ryan nailed that
landing
tracking.
at the launch site. Once again, we're going to ignite first the center 13 engines. We should see that coming up here
Landing burn
momentarily.
startup.
Engines in startup.
This is going to come down to 3 engines as the booster slows down for its landing.
Holy crap.
And we just heard the sonic boom.
That looks so controlled.
What an incredible sight to see the super heavy
Oh my
booster
gosh.
gliding down
Booster
into the
burn
chopstick
shutdown.
arms once again.
Oh, look at a SpaceX V2. Look at that.
Stuck the landing.
Wow.
Wow. That will
Oh.
never get old.
All right.
Wow.
We saw a 12 out of 13 light for that landing burn. Booster still able to make its way with that final precision burn on the 3 engines in for the
How
tower
did it do
catch. So
that?
booster caught. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on ship. Still got 6 Raptors
still good.
burning. Those are going to continue for about another minute until we'll get to the Starship engine cutoff. Really cool view. Again, a
Wow.
million shout outs to all of our avionics team who make these cameras possible for us. That's looking right down inside essentially the skirt area of ship, where you can see a pretty good view of all 6 Raptors, especially those 3 inner ones, one of which we're going to hopefully relight a little bit later.
Uh-oh. No, no, no.
And we just saw some
No!
engines go out. It
What
looks like
the
we are
heck?
losing attitude control of the ship.
No! And they boomed it. Guarantee they just had... Oh, no.
So we'll continue to stick with it.
Man.
For those of you that just recently joined us, we had a successful liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship, followed by a successful stage separation. We saw the booster, actually, you can see it just behind us here. The booster had a successful catch back at the tower. Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship. We are standing by as we listen in with the teams on the nets to understand what information we're able to provide you. We will provide that as soon as we are able, but it's pretty incredible to take a moment and see the booster just behind us. Certainly
Yeah.
a different view than last time.
And at this point, we've essentially lost contact with the ship. We're no longer receiving telemetry at this moment. So we were only about 20 seconds away or so from the end of that ship ascent burn. We saw several of the engines start to cut out. Once you lose enough of those center engines, you're going to lose attitude control. And so we did see the ship start to go into a spin. And at this point, we have lost contact with the ship. So we're going to listen in for a little bit. I think it's pretty obvious we're not going to continue the rest of the mission today, but just give us a couple more minutes. We'll bring you more information as it comes in.
That's crazy. Man, I did not see that coming. I thought for sure they would have figured out what happened with the first version 2 ship